Welcome to Football Tussle. Football Tussle and football is gladly back after it was postponed, obviously, for Queen Elizabeth there of her passing. And then as we talk about her passing, the state funeral was today still, just to put her finally to rest there. RIP there. Elizabeth the second there anyway. But yes, good to have the football back anyway, even though a few games were postponed, as we said last week on last week's edition there still. But yeah, let's go straight into it there.
Let's go.
We can start with I was gonna start with the lunchtime kickoff, but let's start with a team that's one side of the table up there and a team that's the other side of the table, even though you could say that same thing for Wolves and Man City. But let's start at White Hart Lane. Let's start there. And what can we say about that? That game had everything anyway, almost everything anyway. But yeah, go on.
No. I told you, I don't know if it was last week or the 2 episodes before, and I said Rodgers should have left Leicester City and his time was past. And you were telling me, it's a bit too strong and blah, blah, blah.
I said, no. I said,
that's what you said.
You don't resign. You get fired.
Listen,
that's all I said.
Okay, wherever it is, he's killing his legacy. People are going to remember you at the last thing you just done. He's killing his legacy there.
Legacy doesn't matter in football. That's
what
why
it doesn't matter.
Football. In football management, what's it called? Legacy doesn't really affect so much, really, than normal jobs. In a normal job, if you get fired, you don't want that on your CV. But in football management, what's it called? You live and die by that. And you still
it does.
Next week.
No, it does. What do you mean it doesn't? Listen, hence the reason people like David Moyes will never get a top 4 job no more, because obviously he had the opportunity at Man United and it was there for only 6 months. He will never get a top job. It's your legacy. Yeah. Gary Neville will never get a top job because he blew up Valencia. People like
Gary Neville, what's it called? Because obviously what happened at Gary Neville it was a one management crap anyway.
Exactly.
If I'm Rodgers, I don't leave unless it's a mutual agreement.
Because of the money?
Agreement that I get my money. Then I'd leave.
So listen, after a while, I'm sure money isn't a problem for these guys. They're already millionaires. Sometimes you leave.
That. Ask Mourinho that's made 100 million from being sacked in multiple clubs.
Seriously?
Yes. Real Madrid, what's it called? Twice at Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, you name it. The list of the roll of honor or sacking has earned him up to almost £100 million alone.
Top manager.
Well, but there you are, getting sacked left, right, and centre.
No. But the difference between Mourinho and Rodgers,
obviously, the
CB is a proven winner. So exactly. So I just feel like Rodgers, for you haven't done so much in the game for you to want to have relegation on your CV, bro. Like, what has he won in his career?
Agree.
In Scotland,
and then he won the FA Cup at Leicester. That's something for Leicester's level. But I hear what you're saying. For me, unless there's a mutual agreement, you don't walk out on a possible 10, 11 million pounds, regardless.
One relegation. I know. Anyway, but
yeah, let's get back to what's it called, the on pitch matters there anyway. But go on. About the performance there.
The performance was awful. I mean,
I wouldn't say awful.
No. It was awful. You don't concede 6. I'm sorry. You don't concede 6.
I mean, the full-time result, yes.
Yeah. You don't concede 6, especially when you 2 occasions you were in the game. So you went 1-0 up, you conceded, you went 2-1 down, you came to 2-2 with Maddison. You hold it. You hold the fort there, like, Game of Thrones, hold the door. You hold it. But to concede 6 and then to have a guy, an impact sub, to come in and get a hat-trick within 13 minutes, I'm sorry. Stop playing on this Ndidis, Amates. You get proper defenders in there. And you invest the guard and Suyanko, you have to give them a chance. I'm tired of Leicester's over attacking bit of play, because I know Leicester would always score goals. They always score. But you can't be conceding 6 every game. As a betting man now, when you go to your accumulator or your slip, you're bound to do both teams to score because you know what's going to happen.
Of course,
it's shocking performance.
It's definitely, I agree with you. For me, what's it called? It's the same old story with Leicester, as you said. Defensively, they're if not the worst in the top 2 of worst defenses in the Premiership. And then, as you said, you look at the names back there. I don't know who they bought that.
For 15 million, for 15 million, Keys or something like that. I can't
pronounce his names there.
Yeah.
Fights or whatever. Johnny Evans is playing like he's 45. He's finished.
It's finished, man.
Justin and the other guy, Timothy Castellian. Timothy's a good player, but he should be at a better club. For me, as you said, Roger, this is the perfect time for the owners to say, thank you very much, Rodgers. You've taken us so far, but it looks like this is the end of the road.
So
sack him now.
True, but then let me ask you a quick question. So are you saying, you looking at it from an outside perspective, do you feel like the relegation would tarnish his legacy?
No, I don't think. Yeah, it would tarnish him, obviously, because you don't want relegation on your record. But I don't think he's going to last that long. He's not going to last that long.
Yeah. I know he sounds defeated as well, because we're saying I respect it.
It's up to the owners already.
Yeah, I respect the decision. So you can tell the mind is gone anyway. So but
just waiting for the. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, go on. Say, so what are you gonna say?
I'm saying he's just waiting for that call or that call upstairs. You know, the red telephone's ringing, and he said upstairs to the boardroom there, Mr. Rodgers.
What is this, deal or no deal? Red telephone.
Well, there you are.
You relic.
The red telephone is the sacking telephone. It's a very important telephone still. Not just a normal number there still. But yeah. Deal or no deal, and in this case, no deal, you're fired. But anyway, for me, as you said, I mean, Leicester started the game well, because Spurs were a bit shaky there defensively. Leicester had them on a bit of the ropes there. And as you said, they were in the game at least twice. And then obviously, Son is back on Son. What a quality finishes from him. And as Conte made a joke, maybe I should do this experiment more often, where I drop people like Son when they're out of form, and then when they do come back on, they're angry and they really want to score. And that's what you have to do in football sometimes. No one is above being dropped, apart from maybe King Kane and King Salah and all those certain, untouchables there.
Yeah. That was... No. I mean, I agree with you on that one with regards to Son coming on and Conte dropping him, because for me, Son's a very good player, but for a while the output has been crap. Yeah. You know. And even thinking got dropped as well for a bit. What's his name? Kuleveski or whatever. So I'm guessing, like what you're saying, obviously you're right. Only Harry Kane stays in the front three. But listen, Spurs this season, like I keep saying this all the time, Spurs this season, I've yet to see them play the complete game and say, this is brilliant performance from Spurs.
It's true.
But they are winning games. Where are they in the table?
They're unbeaten. They're still unbeaten, and they're third in the table. They're unbeaten. They're still.
There you go.
So they're a team that's, even though, as you said, there's yet to be a game where they've played wonderful. Even this game, finishes for Son, but really Spurs were not really that great. It's just that Leicester that awful. But
Awful. Yeah.
As I said a couple of episodes ago, the team that you really want to play against is Bournemouth. Now I changed my mind. It used to be Bournemouth, then it used to be Nottingham Forest. It's now Leicester. Anyone who's in bad form, go and play Leicester. You're guaranteed a few goals there, if not the 3 points. Yeah. So for me, Leicester have got a big decision to make regarding what they do in this international break. Are they going to stick with him for a couple more games to try and get over, to try and see if there's some, even though they've had hard fixtures, maybe they want to see, possibly give him a couple more games, because I think they've got a few easier. Their next game is a Midland derby against Nottingham Forest. That's a 6-pointer for relegation already. Okay. I think if he loses that game against Nottingham Forest, then I think that could be it, unless they sack him, obviously, in the international break.
Yeah, but I think moving forward, I think what Rodgers needs to do, he needs to change the formation. He needs to go to at least a back three, just to make it a bit more defensive. Like, you can't just keep conceding goals like that every game. Is actually ridiculous.
For me, even back three, back four, back five, the players that are, you can have all the players, because you have to remember, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, as they used to tell me at my secondary school years ago. It was on the wall. Not about quantity, it's about quality. So they can have 6 or 7 back there.
At least you remember something from school.
Well, it's true there. Apart from the other stuff I remember is the fun times there still. But that's a story for another day anyway.
But you look at that, moving on. Wait.
Yeah, go on.
Just look. But just before you go, you look at the goals conceded by Leicester in 7 games. They've conceded 22 goals. Now,
See?
let me just do my maths. I'm guessing that's like at least 3 goals per game. So if I do 22 divided by 7, yeah,
Yeah, that's what
3
I'm saying.
goals.
On
3
average,
goals.
on
Ridiculous.
average, they're conceding three a game, and you're not going to
Shocking.
win games. You're not going to win. You're not going to win or get draws
No,
in
no
such
chance.
a
No
what's it
chance.
called.
No chance.
And
No
the thing
chance.
is, I think they're the worst team for conceding from set pieces since the turn of last season going into this season. They concede free kicks. I mean, goals from free kicks and corners for fun.
This is a mess.
It's a mess, and it looks like whoever, as I said before, defensive coach, whoever's in there, they don't know what they're doing.
No,
So
they don't.
it's just one of those. But for Spurs, another what's it called, winning the bag, where they've not played too brilliant, but they've got the 3 points, scoring 6 goals, helping the goal difference is much helpful, and keep themselves in touch with Man City and Arsenal, and then be able to have the what's it called quality this time to be bringing off the bench or replacing good players is a good sign for Conte, Spurs, and the fans. We'll see. We'll watch that space.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on what happens with Rodgers over the international break. Moving on to the other game that was on Saturday lunchtime, it's my old friends, as I always call them, the Toothless Wolves. Wolves with no teeth. Just like an old man with gums.
My goodness.
They can't even bite any chicken or whatever. They just have to eat bread or something. They're soft. Soft bread or whatever you want to call it. There you are. That's what Wolves are like. But they can't. And all that Portuguese FC or whatever. Very good for the players there, but no end products.
Nah, but come on, I think you've been a bit too harsh.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
You've been a bit too harsh. Listen, hold on a second. Do you think
launch what's it called, big buy last season, where earlier in the season or middle of the season you were talking about manager of the season halfway through, and
that was last season.
The run of games for the last 10 or whatever 11 games, I think only 1 or 2 victories. I'm sorry, it's not being harsh. It's reality and facts.
But hold on a second before reality and facts. Yeah. Did you expect Wolves to go to Man City? I mean, did you expect Wolves to beat Man City, either at home or away? No. I'm asking you a question though. Did you expect that? No, it's 3-0. It's 3-0 on normal score line. You would expect between Man City and Wolves.
Well, before maybe 2 seasons ago, I would have said yes. But before that, coming in from last season and a bit before and this season, you would have said maybe normally the games are a bit tighter. Wolves are normally known for being tight, what's it called, defensively. But nowadays, not only are they what's it called, the back line's a bit more loose, they can't score, and that's not a good combination. Look where they are in the table.
I think they 17th. They're 17th in the table, but I feel like it's the goals. They need goals. Conceding the goals, they're still going the best defenses. Still 7 goals conceded in the league. And if you look at that against everyone, only Brighton, Man City, and Liverpool have conceded less with Everton. Only 14. So they're still right up there. So for me, I don't want to be too harsh on Wolves because
you have to be harsh.
No, that's against Man City.
How much money has he spent?
Listen, how much are you going to take? Like, okay, let's go back. The games.
Look at the team. Look at the team. He's spent quite a bit there still.
But the thing is, you look at the results they've had. For me, the bad results they've not. The only bad result I could say is the game against Leeds at the start of the season when they lost 2-1. Hold on a second. Start of the season, they lost 2-1 to Leeds United. Then at home, they drew to Fulham. Now, at that time, you thought that was a bad result. But now we've come to know Fulham are no mugs in the Premier League this season. Then they lost.
Poor result anyway, regardless.
Hold on a sec. Well, okay. Then they lost 1-0 to Spurs. Look at where Spurs are right now in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then they drew 1-1 with Newcastle. Newcastle, they know the Premier League. They're hard to beat. Then who
are they going to beat?
Wait.
Is that what they're waiting for?
For me, the only poor result they had was against Bournemouth away from home when they drew 0-0. Other than that, they beat Southampton and they've lost to Man City. The reason I question the manager Lange is because he's thinking this is Portuguese FC.
He's just buying everything from Portugal almost. There's what's it called? And Diego Costa, even though I know he hasn't played for 9 months. What's it called? Maybe hopefully they work on his conditioning over the international break, and he needs to start. He needs to either be on the bench or start in the next game there after the international break there still. So for me, they're too toothless there. Nice players on the ball. I think Montinho's on his way out anyway, because what's it called? He's a good player.
He's old now. He's old, is it? 34, 35? Oh, he's 36.
He's 36. You look at the team, as I said, from the midfield 3 and the front 3, it's six of those players are all 6 is Portuguese.
Have you got a problem with players from Portugal or something?
I haven't actually, but I'm just saying
you keep mentioning all the time.
I mention them because they're nice. They're nice on the ball.
That's not the problem, though.
There's no end products.
That's not the problem, though. They don't have a proper striker. No, that's not the problem. They don't have a proper striker. Whatever nationality
even if you haven't got proper strikers, still some of those people should be scoring, for God's sake.
Hey, listen, whatever nationality it is, I couldn't care less. But the thing is, look, listen, Neves is not really a consistent goal scorer. Nunes is not a consistent goal scorer. Martinez is a deep playmaker. So fair enough, Neto, condensed Guedes, but they need a proper striker to convert those chances.
He has spent a lot of money. Maybe he wants to try and give them up the currency or whatever. Give them Portuguese because they were struggling with the Euros or whatever. He's trying to do something over there. I don't know what he's doing. Some backhanders anyway, but he better be careful. But and then talk about a very nasty challenge there from Nathaniel Nathan Collins on Grealish there. It was deserved red card anyway.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
You can't disagree with that. Even the manager and the player, he even waited after the game to apologize to Grealish. Talk about Grealish. We're talking about his lucky English call up because he's supposed to be the golden boy after King Kane.
Yeah.
For me, he's lucky that he's starting games for Man City there. He started in Premiership, in Champions League midweek, and then he started this game, which I was a bit surprised, but at least he answered by scoring. But for me, this was a formality win, as you said.
Come on.
At the end of the day, and the machine, the Terminator, Haaland there, once again scoring. At this rate, it definitely by halfway of the season,
is
maybe 20+ goals.
Listen, by halfway through the season, he's probably won the award for top goal scorer.
Oh yeah, that's it. Wrap it up.
But my thing is, you look at Man City. The result didn't tell me anything different that I already knew. It just shows you how vital, for this season, how vital KDB is to them as well, because KDB laid on 2 assists. The guy already has got, if I look at the stats, KDB this season's already played 7 games. He scored 1 goal, which is a bit of a small output for him, but 6 assists. Is that crucial to Man City? And he really gets rotated because, listen, he's needed. But listen, Man City is titled to lose. So
to lose. That's it.
I'll be honest.
That's another team we'll keep an eye on the progress in the coming games for Wolves. Moving on to the other game on Saturday.
Wait, quick question just before you move. Who was more crucial to Man City? Haaland right now or KDB?
What's it called? At the end of the day, you say KDB because they've won the Premiership. 4 out of the last 5 without a proper striker, kind of. Anyway, so at the end of the day, it'll be a bit like what's it called? Even if we didn't come here, they'll still be favourites to win the title. We wouldn't be shocked if they won the title. They would still be. I think they'll still be top of the. They'll still be where they are, if not top of the table, without Haaland.
I got one more question then. What about Haaland? Because right now he's in his. I don't want to say in his prime, but he's on form. A form Haaland or an informed Sergio Aguero? Who'd you pick?
Well, what's it called? You have to go for the Kun Aguero there still.
Well done.
Haaland's very good there, but
Sergio Kun Aguero.
Kun Aguero.
The goal, that goal class.
That's what I'm saying. Haaland is still learning his trade there, but he's doing legendary stuff yet, but he's not a legend yet. Definitely good questions there still. But definitely there. We'll see in coming games what Wolves do if they can start scoring some goals and getting some more some wins there. Moving on to the other game, the other game on Saturday, that was Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Newcastle's a funny team there as well. They're hard to beat there, but they're a bit of they seem to be struggling to score goals as well.
They do.
Like to score maybe more than one or whatever. And you're thinking, what's the real problem? If you look at the lineup there, they've got quite a few attacking good players there. So
who's the attacking good players?
Well, they missed them obviously, and Sen-Maximin is still injured.
Exactly, he went playing. So who?
Yeah, but even though when he did play, what's it called, the previous game, not the one. I mean, the game before he got injured. I don't know if they won that game anyway, but that was a game I think against Man City. So it's going to always be a hard game to win anyway. But you have to, what's it called, when the money that he spent a bit of change there still, you need to be doing better than that. This is Eddie Howe's season. If he doesn't do anything, he'll be out. So he better take his chance there still. So, but even though Fraser's crap anyway, so Fraser's a player that should be playing at in the mid-table, if not below it than that. The defense is still got a few dodgy names there still. So maybe they're punching above their weight there still, even though they're hard to beat.
I think they are. Look at that team in Willock and Joe Linton, striker converted to midfielder. Exactly. And Guimaraes already. That midfield is
your friend Amaron. Is it Amaron?
Amaron is there, but like I said, Amaron barely. You look at. I like him as a player, but the stats say otherwise.
Not enough end product.
No, exactly. Yeah. So the stats is otherwise. So hence the reason why they're not scoring that much. But I think, like what you said previously, they are definitely punching above the weight because they played 7 games. They've drawn 5. So that's a good base to start with. They've lost only 1 game this season.
Specialists,
lost only 1 game this season. They've only won 1, and they played Man City and held their home. So they could have nicked. They could have nicked it if not for, I don't know. So
definitely. And what's it called? They hit the woodwork twice there through what's it called?
Trippier.
And then I mean the goal that the equalizer was from a penalty spot, even though there were some questions if it was a penalty, but because of where the hand was a bit away from the body, so you can see like it's given by VAR. So what's it called? If his hand was closer, then maybe, but because the hand was away, that's why the penalty was given there. But a good result for Bournemouth anyway. They've improved, what's it called, since the sacking of Parker there. So they're doing much better than what's it called was expected, because even with the sacking, sometimes you still don't see no change. So they've done very well in what's it called. They won their previous game before that.
Yeah, I think one drawn 2.
See, so that's a good what's it called effect after the sacking of their manager. So they're doing all right there. It's just that Newcastle need to try and turn these draws into wins against, especially home games against Bournemouth. Really, on paper, they should be beating Bournemouth.
Yeah, facts.
But it's just one of those things there. Moving on to Sunday's game there, and lunchtime London derby there, where I thought it was on paper. It looked like it was going to be a bit of a
not this time.
Not this time.
Not
the
this
bees stung themselves.
Definitely. Yes, they were shot to pieces there with the cannon. Listen.
So what have you got to say about? Are you believing in the process a bit more? Because you've been a real critic of your manager Arteta. What can you say there? Don't be sour. Be strong. Be strong.
Listen. Don't tell me how to support my club. Okay, about be honest and be strong.
You have to sometimes, because sometimes
stay in your lane.
Some people are gone sometimes.
Stay in your lane.
To say something when to go back.
Yeah, listen. But you only trust the process if the process have yielded results. I keep saying that. So,
and they are. People have improved.
They've improved, but at the end of the season, you could ask me this question. At the end of the season, when we
we know that old line, that old chestnut line, end of the season is
then save that. Then save it. Then save it. But anyway, moving on from that question, I would say I say the same thing all the time. These are the teams that we should be beating. I've been saying it since last season. For me, the progress I will start seeing, because you said there's improvements. Yes, there's improvements with regards to beating the teams they should beat. But I will judge Arteta on the big games, because these teams
lost one already.
Exactly. And because these games against Brentford, you really expect them to be winning.
Home and away, if you want to finish in a top 4 or trying to challenge, if you're going to challenge, you have to win these games home and away. I know what you mean.
Definitely.
So
but
it's not really judged on this one, but
But let me not waste your time. I was just, for me, the Partey coming back into the side was definitely a big plus. But I feel like the
Vieira,
Gabriel
what's a game?
Vieira did well. Arteta's recruited properly. Jesus, listen, I'm so grateful we bought this guy. It's not just the
I was
things
taking him at Liverpool, but we never got him because I
you
don't
got
think Liverpool have sold him to us.
you got too much at
Jesus
Liverpool.
instead of Nunes.
And wow, look at you.
Anyway, we're talking about what's it called, Arsenal, not Nunes.
But
Yeah,
anyway, listen. I'm happy with the result. It was 3 points. This time we couldn't get bullied. And just to say, Ivan Toney and the other guy barely had a sniff.
Yeah,
Barely had a
Saliba had him in his pocket.
Saliba and Gabriel were just playing ping pong with him.
That's what I'm saying. And as I always say, a sign of a good team is when you can replace injured players with quality and they're not missed.
It's
and
true.
That's what Arsenal got at the moment there, where goals are coming from different angles. And I used to say that about Liverpool there and Man City there. So that it bodes well. But for Brentford, it was a good slap in the face there because Tony came into that game in form and then he hardly had a sniff there still. But if Arsenal fans, even Arteta and the players, if you had told them that before the season started that you'd be after 7 games, you would have won 6 and lost 1 and been top of the table above Man City by the first international break, you would have said, whoever told you that is drunk. But Arsenal have done.
Relax.
Arsenal pro this where they are.
Relax. Who are you? We ain't that bad. Relax. We ain't that bad.
You need to relax. You're punching above your weight.
What you mean? What you mean? What do you mean we're punching above our weight? We've won more Premier League titles. We've won more Premier League titles than Liverpool. So don't give me that nonsense on air.
We're not talking about that.
No. We got pedigree. We got pedigree here.
Well, that's about pedigree. I'm talking about.
No. What you mean?
Before the season started, Before the season started, by first international break, Arsenal fans didn't think they'll be where they are now. That's what I'm saying. There you go.
Let the fans decide that on the comments, not you saying blah blah.
Leave some comments there, Arsenal fans, and see if you agree or disagree, or you agree with me, or you agree with your fellow Gooner there. But moving on to a 6-pointer relegation clash, which it was at Goodison Park. Everton versus West Ham. Both managers were under pressure going into that game.
Yeah,
Moyes and or Frank Lampard and David Moyes. Yeah. Moyes has spent 160 million. You look at the players that he's bought for 160 million. The names, some of them I can't even pronounce there. It's shocking.
Whoa. 160?
Yeah. He's bought a guy called is it Nafa Egard or whatever, some rents, 30 million. I can't pronounce the name properly. I don't even see him playing. I think he's like a defender, wing back. He got injured in pre-season.
Yeah, he's injured.
They bought the goalkeeper from PSG as second choice, Areola, for 8 million. They bought some guy from Swansea. I think he's a British player or Welsh. Yeah,
Downs. He does all right. He plays in Europe.
9.6 million. Then they bought Max Cornet. I don't know what he has to do not to start games for West Ham. He's playing him in the Europa, but for me, he's earned the right to play in the Premiership over the likes of Fornal or whatever. They bought him for almost 17.5 million. They bought the guy from PSG. What's it called? The defender. He's been poor. He's been poor. If he was that good, PSG wouldn't have let him go for that cheap. And then they bought,
but for me, at PSG, he was playing right back. I don't understand how he's playing centre back.
He's centre back. And another player that they bought was Emerson from Chelsea there.
Yeah, 11 mil.
The left back for almost 14 million pounds. And then they bought that Lucas Paquet, whatever his name is, and for almost 40 million pounds. And for me, they're buying some of the same kind of type of players there. They've got a lot of, as we said earlier in the season there, where they've got those kind of Lanzini, what's it called, Fornals. Now they've got this guy. What's happened to them? They've looked stale.
Benrahma. I feel the problem is that the key players for them last season are not performing this season. So
looks like a shadow of himself.
Did he get called up?
He got called up. I don't know how, but I think then again, all sorts of people got called up anyway. Still, Maguire and Luke Shaw got called up. And Luke Shaw's hardly played the game. Maguire's been on the bench there.
I think even Chilwell got called up as well.
There you go. Still, so that's a story for another day.
I feel like the players at West Ham, the key players at West Ham, are not performing. So you look at the likes of Bowen not performing, Antonio not performing, the defense as a unit is not performing. Kufar and Creswell, who used to give you assists from the wings and stuff, they were
they look washed.
One time they were saying they were the best duo behind Robinson and Arnold, but now they look a far shadow of themselves. And then you have the midfield of Rice and Stewart, and that's okay. But sometimes
you need to change it.
You need to.
The Czech guy has been out of form for a little while now.
Yeah, because he's not gonna get those goals no more.
Yeah,
so
it's like you keep going back to the old suit there. And they say, do you wear that all the time? And that's what's happening. And moving on, let's not forget about Everton. That was a crucial win because Everton have been hard to beat. That was their first win of the season because they were like a draw specialist. So very good goal from Malpai there. His first goal there for Everton there, and hopefully that the way Lampard celebrated, you thought he had won the Premiership or something there. But it was a good win for them.
It was a very good win. Yeah,
that they're hard to beat, which is a good thing for them. And now they were able to just get that goal and not concede, and they got them over the line.
Still risky. Yeah, West Ham are very poor.
They go with two strikers. What does the Italian striker have to do, like Cornet, to start?
Antonio, I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Management.
And Antonio,
I want to ask you one question. I want to ask you as
oh wow. Okay, go ahead.
Who's going to get sacked first, David Moyes or Brendan Rodgers?
Rodgers.
Okay, then what's it
Rodgers.
called? That's your answer there. That's a question that we need to put out to our people as well. And
what about you?
That could. I think Rodgers would just go just before, but Moyes needs to be careful. He has to be careful.
He needs to be careful. If anything, maybe
Rodgers manager as well after spending so much money.
I know that one there, they're a mess. I don't even know what's happening there.
We forgot about that game quickly. What's it called? But well done on those on Everton winning. I forgot about the game, the quick 2 games on with time permitting there.
A good
win for 2 managers that were under pressure. Even there's quite a few managers under pressure in the Premiership nowadays. Villa versus Southampton, Gerrard and House or Hukun or whatever his name is. I hope I pronounced it correctly. If not, Saints fans, send in the comments. But anyway, names mean nothing if you're not getting the results. So that was a big win there for there still. Nice goal there for Villa from Ramsey. And then we had a goal fest at at Forest's ground there still, City ground there, where Forest, they seem to know how to score goals, but they don't know how to not stop conceding more goals.
The teams, listen, Forest, they're a mess. Listen, they're gonna get relegated.
How can you go out like you're behaving like Football Manager where you buy 22, 23? That's a whole new squad.
It's a whole new squad, exactly. And you expect the team to gel.
Thank you. Lingard, that was your highest paid or whatever, is in and out of the team now. You have to ask questions. He's another manager, Cooper, even though he's done well bringing them up. He better be careful himself because there's 4 managers that I would say. Cooper of Forest, Lodge of Wolves.
No, he's fine. Log is fine.
Rodgers of Leicester, and then Moyes of West Ham. You say they're all cool, but someone has to go.
And Lampard as well.
Rodgers is favourite still.
And Lampard, but yeah.
Well, Lampard's with that win, that takes a bit of the
the little sweat there, just a little,
But yeah, what's it called? We're now into the international break. I mean, Liverpool will have, it might be a good thing or a bad thing for Liverpool, obviously, because they didn't get to play because of the high-profile Category A game there and the Queen's, the police needed for other resources there still. But hopefully a few of the injured players come back from on the international break. And then, obviously, like Arsenal, luckily for Arsenal, none of their Brazilian players have got called up for Brazil there.
That was
there still.
No, that was a big blow. I'm shocked. No,
it's a blessing. It's a blessing for you Arsenal fans there still.
No, but I want my players to get
stuff, but those players are guaranteed.
I want them to get. What do you mean? They're not really guaranteed. Martinelli is not first. He doesn't play that much for Brazil. Any of them. So that, to me, I was shocked by that. By that call up.
There you go. But I hope you enjoyed this episode anyway. Start more viewing and more subscribing and sending more comments. I would have expected more comments last week about the best buys and worst buys. I hope you enjoyed our content.